Hello, it's Monday, November 7th, and you're watching The Big Story with me, Chao Suen. Subscribe to the Straits Times channel to stay up to date with our live news updates. Now, there will be more support for Singaporeans to help them cope with the upcoming goods and services tax hike that will kick in on January 1st. Deputy Prime Minister Lawrence Wong announced an additional $1.4 billion boost to the assurance package for households to offset the impact of the GST hike in view of overall rising prices. This means that the package will now be worth $8 billion, up from $6.6 billion before. DPM Wong, who's also Finance Minister, explains the reasons for the increase.
With higher inflation this year and in the coming years, we can expect that the household expenditure and therefore the additional GST expenses will increase. The size of the assurance package will therefore need to be correspondingly increased to meet our committed levels of offset. Therefore, after reviewing the elevated inflation situation, I have decided to top up the assurance package by another $1.4 billion to reach around $8 billion. This ensures that the package continues to offset additional GST expenses for the majority of Singaporean households for at least 5 years, with around 10 years offset for lower-income households. And I will share the details of this enhancement in my budget statement next year. So for those who ask the government to delay the GST rate increase, the assurance package in effect does precisely that for the majority of households. The cash and other forms of support under the assurance package amount to more than what most citizens will pay in additional GST for at least 5 years.
A robust exchange between the leader of the opposition, Pritam Singh, and Second Minister for Finance, Indranee Rajah, broke out in Parliament today. The back and forth arose over Mr. Singh's question if HDB would provide a breakdown of the total development cost of new flats. His query came after a POFMA correction direction was issued over allegations that there had been an accounting sleight of hand in a calculation of HDB's net loss for a BTO project in Ang Mo Kio.
I don't believe Minister has answered the question number 5, whether HDB will be providing a clear breakdown of the costs.
I'm not sure I understand the correlation. I think everybody knows that HDB applies subsidies, significant subsidies. So I think there are two things. If Mr. Singh was just asking, can you provide the breakdown? That I understand. But he's saying, in view of the POFMA correction, whether HDB will provide the breakdown. So I will answer Mr. Singh's question on whether we provide the breakdown. I'm just trying to understand how it's correlated.
The connection would be that the identity of the individual who was issued the POFMA correction direction. This is I can't name him by virtue of standing orders, but he was the chief economist of the Government of Singapore Investment Corporation. So if the minister says that this has been known for a long time, one would expect someone of that stature to also not fall foul of POFMA and be POFMA.
If Mr. Singh says that, how come somebody who's an ex-economist of, did you name the organization? Okay, of GIC can be POFMA. I don't think there is any rule in the law books which says that economists and ex-economists of GIC cannot be POFMA.
On the subject of property in Singapore, about 45% of Housing Board flat owners who own private property do not live in their flats as they have rented out their entire unit. The National Development Minister, Desmond Lee, added that as of October 2022, about 3% of HDB flat owners own at least one private residential property. This has fallen by about 0.3 percentage points in the last 3 years. And about 4% of such owners rent out one or more bedrooms of their HDB flat. Among flat owners who do not own private property, about 13% rent out their whole flat or bedrooms. In other news, commuters on the Thomson-East Coast Line can look forward to more frequent trains when the third stage opens this Sunday, November 13th. With project engineers getting ready for the big day, trains will run every 6 minutes during off-peak hours instead of the 9 minutes now, while peak hour train intervals will remain at 5 minutes. The Land Transport Authority will review the frequencies as ridership on the line increases. Another 11 stations from Stevens to Gardens by the Bay will open on Sunday to add to the current 9. And Singapore has launched its first ever pavilion at a climate change summit, highlighting its commitment to global climate action. The Singapore Pavilion at COP27 in Egypt, which runs until November 18th, has over 100 partners involved. Themed around building a future of green possibilities, it showcases the Singapore Green Plan 2030, as well as collaborations that will help the region and beyond adopt sustainable solutions. MAS Chief Ravi Menon spoke about Singapore's role in the fight against climate change.
Singapore wants to be a convener, a catalyst, and a contributor to solutions for global climate action. And this is the broader purpose of this pavilion. Singapore has been contributing to international efforts towards comparable sustainability disclosures and sound climate data and metrics, developing sound carbon markets. Carbon markets play a complementary role to channel funds to emissions reduction and removable projects that would otherwise not have received funding. Singapore can play a useful role as a facilitator of carbon market solutions in Asia.
And those are our top stories. Visit straitstimes.com for more news and our YouTube channel for more videos. Subscribe by hitting the red button below. I'm Chao Suen, and I'll see you tomorrow on The Big Story.